Good morning. Wonderhussy here, standing in the middle of the desert at sunrise on the shortest day of the year. Okay, I'm actually a little bit late. Sun came up probably about a half hour ago, but it's cloudy today anyways, so who's gonna know? Actually, the truth is, it was so cozy in my bed, and thermometer says it's 35 degrees out here, and I believe it. So, well, this is the earliest I could force myself up, but it's close enough. I mean, the sun barely came up over the mountains there in the east, around 6:30 a.m. this time of year, I think. And it's gonna travel through the sky on its weak winter path on this shortest day of the year, alongside the old Quonset hut, and then to the west where it'll set somewhere behind that palm tree there around 4:45 p.m. These winter days are short, and it's been tough for me because, well, I'm not exactly what you'd call a morning person, especially when it's cold like this in the morning. So try as I might, I really hardly ever get up until 7:30, and well, by the time I'm really up and moving around, it's like 9 o'clock, and then I gotta do some email and drink some coffee and this and that, and well, by the time I get started on any adventures, it's like noon, which means I only have like 4.5 hours of daylight to get anything done. And oh my gosh, there's been a couple occasions lately where I've been driving down a really rough road in the dusk, kind of cursing myself for not getting out there earlier. So basically, longer days means more daylight, means more adventures, which is why I'm standing out here freezing my tuchus off in this 35-degree morning air because I want to celebrate the shortest day of the year, because it means that, well, starting tomorrow, the days will start getting longer again. Woohoo! That's right, they call today the winter solstice. This is the day when, oh gosh, I don't even know this. I guess the Earth is at its farthest point from the sun, at least here in the northern hemisphere. For my Australian fans, well, you guys are all laying on the beach, tanning in the sun, having shrimp on the Barbie, and cracking open a nice cold one. Good for you. Up here in the northern hemisphere, it ain't like that. We're freezing. But as of tomorrow, we'll start getting closer incrementally, day by day. And oh my gosh, I can't wait. Anyway, we are getting ready for Christmas. Matter of fact, my sister and I are getting ready to go visit our mom. But before we celebrate Christmas, we also want to celebrate the solstice. Better close the compound back up and get ready for a day's work. Because yes, we do have plans to celebrate the solstice, but we're not doing that until sunset tonight, or well, this afternoon. We have plans for a special solstice ceremony. But before then, well, I've got a lot of editing work to do, so I'm going to go ahead into the casita, which is what I've been using as my office, and get things set up. Ooh, it's 44 degrees in here. Ooh. Well, that's why I got up first thing to turn on this heater, so that by the time I go in and brush my teeth and make my coffee, and I'm ready to come in here and start working, well, hopefully the room will be warmed up a little bit. There, got my workspace ready for the day. Look at that, it's up to 51 degrees in here. Toasty. I actually really like working in this little casita. Well, if you've been watching this journey from the beginning, you might recall that I wanted to live in this casita originally, but then come to find out my sister really wanted it, so I gave it to her. But, well, it needs work. So I'm just using it as my office in the meantime, and it's working out great because gosh, when I work, I just want to be alone so I can mutter to myself. And I do a lot of voice to text, voice diction stuff when I'm answering email. And I just don't want other people listening into what I'm saying. So having this little tiny office, which is sort of almost like a monk's cell at a monastery, if you look at it, has been a real godsend. Okay, anyway, that being said, I better sit down and start editing, because I got a lot of work to do today if I want to be done in time to celebrate the solstice. Ugh, time for a break from editing. I need to rinse out the wheel wells on my rig, because I went adventuring yesterday. That's right, I went on an expedition up into the mountains, and well, I got a bunch of mud in my wheel wells, and the people at the 4x4 shop where I take my car for suspension work told me that my shocks wouldn't need rebuilding as often if I just kept them clean. Supposedly every time I go off-roading, I'm supposed to go to the self-car wash and just sort of rinse out the wheel wells. Well, when I lived in Vegas, that was all well and good because there was a self-car wash not far from my house. But out here in the desert, things are different. Gotta keep them icons nice and shiny. My sister's down there working on a trench. One of the last things Jim did for us before he left is, he installed a toilet in the Quonset hut. The previous owner had already kind of, laid some of the pipe in, whatever, so to speak. Jim actually installed the toilet, and then he dug, when we had our septic tank pumped, he had the guy kind of help him dig a little channel to where he could feed the pipe from the toilet into the septic tank. So now that makes 3 toilets we have at our disposal here at the Death Valley compound. Talk about fancy. Started out, we all had to share the toilet in the main house. Then my sis and Jim fixed the toilet in the casita. And well, now we've got another one down in the Quonset. Anyway, I still have a bunch of editing to do, so I'm just going to take a quick break for lunch since it's about 1 o'clock. And then, go back in and try to get the rest of this done so that I can help my sis get things ready for our solstice celebration. There's nothing like a hot mug of bone broth to warm you up on a freezing solstice day. Okay, finally done with my editing. And well, you might be able to see that the light is already getting kind of low. Getting awful close to that palm tree, you know what I mean? Okay, we have about 15 minutes before we're supposed to head up to do this solstice ceremony. So we're gonna make some hot mulled wine to take with us. I had this bottle of sweet red wine, which I think is perfect to throw in a pot here with, we got some tea bags, some Bengal spice herbal tea bags. And my sis is, she's gonna cut up some orange for it. Oh yum, that'll be delicious. Okay, so the wine is simmering with the orange slices and the tea bags. Then for good measure, we're gonna add a glug of this Tennessee honey whiskey and maybe even a slug of this Maple Crown Royal. Solstice only comes once a year, or twice a year. Oh gosh, it's already 4 o'clock, we gotta go. Let me get my my mulled wine. Just in time to catch this final sunset of, fall 2021. Oh gosh, I sound like a peddler. I got a bag full of all kinds of odds and ends that we brought with us for the ceremony. And the plan is we're gonna hike up to the top of the hills here so we can really watch the sun go down over the valley. Terry, my sister, and I hiked all the way up to the very top of the hills and followed the ridgeline until we got to the perfect spot to watch the sunset. My sister lit some ceremonial sage, and we all sat down on a blanket to drink our hot mulled wine and enjoy nature's finest show As the sun got lower and lower, my sister shook our ceremonial Christmas bells in a somber accompaniment to its slow journey down behind the mountains. We lit one of my little campfires in a cans and enjoyed one of the most spectacular sunsets I've ever seen. It was a great way to celebrate the ending of the shortest day of 2021. Wow, what a great solstice sunset. It got real cold up there, though, once the sun went down, so well, we had to hike back down and come into the house. And now it's time to switch gears from solstice to Christmas and see what kind of Christmas presents I got. Now, I know it's technically, well, today's the 21st, so it's not actually Christmas yet, but I am going all the way up to visit my mom, and I don't want to bring all these boxes up there with me. So I'm gonna cheat and open them a few days early. Don't tell Santa. Wow, what an amazing bunch of Christmas gifts. Vegemite. How about that? All the way from down under. I know a lot of people think this stuff tastes funny, but I love it. And oh my god, these pecans. But all jokes aside, there was a couple gifts here that didn't have gift receipts. Like, these boots are amazing. There was no name in them, so whoever sent me these boots, thank you. I am going to go boot scooting as soon as I get a chance. Boot, scoot, and boogie. Remember that song? And then how about those galoshes? These didn't have a receipt in them either, and these are really nice. I'm going to wear these tromping around in the bog out front of the house. There's a big marsh, and well, part of the trail is kind of inaccessible unless you have the appropriate footwear, which I now do. So thank you to whoever sent me. Well, thanks to everybody who sent me anything. I mean, this stuff was so much fun to open. But, oh gosh, it's getting late, and, well, we had our little solstice sunset ceremony on top of the hill, but the real ceremony we want to do is tomorrow morning at sunrise, because it's going to be the first sunrise where the days start getting longer. So even though it's not going to be pleasant to get up at 5 a.m., and even though it's going to be cold to be sitting out there, by golly, we're going to do it. So I'd better get to bed. Yay! There it is! The first sunrise of winter 2021. The whole year sort of felt like winter to me. But that's just me. Anyway, good morning, everyone. If you're awake with me at this ungodly early hour, here's to you. Getting up, I got up at 5:30, and, well, it wasn't pleasant, but, oh my gosh, it was so worth it. My sister had already gotten up and made this little fire. Let me turn the camera on. I'll kind of try to show you what's going on here. So you can see the moon is still up there in the west, over the house. So what my sister did is we went out on the kind of like the front parking deck or whatever you call it, and she built a little fire right here at the northeast corner, looking directly up. The sun came, must have come up right through that little dip there, and it's well on its way up now. I mean, if I pan along the mountains this way, well, you can see that it's still pretty dark. Anyway, technically the sun was already up when I got out here. I wanted to be out here when it was full dark and see the very first bits of the sky lightening, turning gray, you know, really experience the sunrise. But I didn't get up until 5:30, and so I didn't get out here till like 6. And unfortunately, I missed it. But this is still pretty cool. a very smoky fire, but it's good because this smoke is like the ghosts of fall 2021 rising up into the air and dissipating into the ether. Be gone, bad memories. Only good times lie ahead. Okay, so when the first rays of the sun really start coming up over the mountain, because it's still kind of hidden back there, but when the first rays come up, my sister has a special ceremony that she thought up, and it's super cool. Okay, my sister got us these really cool matching ponchos. Mine has a wolf on it. And these are really cozy. They're like made in the Andes, supposedly. A wool blend, so they're really warm. They're just really nice. Well, her poncho has an owl on it. Oh, that's her totem. I'm the wolf, lone wolf. She's the owl, the wise owl. But what's cool about her poncho is it's reversible. The inside, pardon me, ma'am, is this, it's a lighter color. So it's dark on the outside and white on the inside, or light on the inside. So when the first real true rays of the new sun come over the horizon, she's going to do a ceremonial reversing of her poncho from the dark side to the light side. Okay, well, it's a little bit cloudy, but I think the first rays of the sun are definitely over the mountains there. So that means it's time for the ceremonial poncho switching. Not going to be fun to take that warm poncho off and flip it inside out, but it's what must be done to celebrate the changing from dark to light. Yay! Look at that! Winter has arrived! Woo! That was totally worth getting up for. I try to celebrate the winter solstice every year. Last year, you might remember, I went to this weird Stonehenge replica with my friend Jessica. But the winter solstice is meaningful to me because, gosh, I really don't like dark and I really don't like cold. And yeah, even though there are going to be plenty more dark and cold days ahead of us, at least I know, in the back of my mind that each day is getting a little bit longer. A little bit more daylight every day. A little bit more hope for all of us. I'm sure many of you can relate. There's been some dark, kind of gloomy times lately. So maybe we can all take heart in the fact that there's more sunshine ahead. Okay, enough philosophizing. Solstice is over. On to the next holiday, which is Christmas. And to that end, well, it's a good thing we got up early, so my sister and I are going to go load my car and start the long journey up to my mom's house. It's about a 550-mile trip, so I'm going to drive the first leg to Bakersfield, and then she's going to take over the wheel for the second leg, all the way up I-5, north of San Francisco, into the misty, gloomy redwoods of Northern California, to my mom's cozy little cabin. But before we start loading the car and getting ready for that, there's one more place here in my desert home that I feel like I should visit on this solstice morning. And that is this cross. Look at this. There's this little white wooden cross. I thought this cross would be a fitting place to stop and reflect before I begin my journey to my mom's house for Christmas. There she blows, standing proudly on the hill, looking over this beautiful desert valley. Oh my goodness, look at that. Well, you can ignore all the trailers and the sewage ponds, but beyond it, it's beautiful. Awesome. May it protect my sister and me on our journey, and not just our journey today, but on our journey in general. I have a feeling everything is gonna be okay. Happy solstice, everyone, and Merry Christmas.